Hello, everyone. This is March. We are here. I am excited for March, and I hope you are as well. And I have a wonderful guest today who is going to talk about ways to manifest. And this individual, um, I have known her for only for a little bit time, but she's a wealth of knowledge. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. And as usual, I hope you get valuable information from this and incorporate it into your life. That's my intention. And I appreciate your support. And please share the podcast with whoever you think might benefit as well. Um, so, welcome again to Align with Your Dharma. My guest today is this beautiful individual. Um, she graduated from Troy University with a bachelor in design, innovation, technology, and with a minor concentration in computer science. And she has 10 plus years of experience working in marketing, technology, and design. And she lives her lifestyle. She lives a holistic lifestyle, focusing on herbalism, astrology, and alchemy. She's wealth of knowledge. And she grows her own food using regenerative gardening techniques, which works with the earth using no-till methods, compost, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to talk to her about that as well. And she bases her lifestyle on working with nature and the phases of moon. She says Egyptians are known to be true alchemists of the world, and she does embrace her culture and history. So without further ado, I want to welcome amazing Jennifer. Come on. Yay.
Hello, I love it.
How are you, Jennifer?
I'm excited.
Yes, I am too. I'm so excited with all the things we are going to talk about today and all the knowledge you're going to share with my audience. So, um, I want to start off by asking, I know you've gone through some challenges. Um, are you able to see me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, you've gone through some challenges. What is the greatest challenge that you had overcome, and what did you gain by overcoming it?
My biggest challenge is probably letting go of poverty mindset. Poverty mindset's really hard to let go of, and it's one of the key things to actually manifest. And the way I was able to let go of that was I had to kind of hit my own like rock bottom and sit with the emotions of it, and kind of grasp it. But I think by overcoming that mentality and that mindset, I was able to kind of trust the universe more and learn how to manifest and do the affirmations worked a little bit better for me doing that.
What affirmations did you use? If you can share with us at least one or two that helped you to overcome that.
So when it comes to affirmations, the key is to always put in affirmations of it already happening. So some of the affirmations I would use to kind of manifest money and abundance would be money flows to me easily. I attract money. I attract the best opportunities versus I want to attract. Because if you write something so many times in your subconscious of wanting something, you're just manifesting the want of something versus the actual action of it.
Hmm. Um, Thank you for sharing that. So, did you just do the affirmations or did you do something else along with the affirmations?
So I feel like with when it comes to manifesting, you have to have a combination of gratitude. So grateful for what you're manifesting. There's the subconscious part of breaking those, negative belief systems of, I'm short on money. So the writing aspect kind of helps your subconscious kind of overcome those disbeliefs. And then it's also a combination of aligning yourself like holistically. So I know when I started to, going away from eating McDonald's every day and actually grounding myself and planting the seeds with the intentions and working
Mm.
with the earth, I felt more connected, and things in the universe just came to be more naturally versus more, mechanically.
Mm. You said it so fast.
Yes. Yes.
So, let me break it down for the audience perspective. So you said you say the affirmations, but you also said you start off with the gratitude. So do you start off with the gratitude and then you broke the limiting beliefs that you had about manifesting by intentionally taking the seeds and literally grounding yourself while you are planting it. So take us through step by steps. Would you do the gratitude first and then do the seed intentions or the
So
other
the
way?
first thing is understanding what your fear is that's blocking you from manifesting. So mine was trying to control everything. So I'm a Taurus moon. I like consistency. I like logic. I like my home, and I'm stubborn. So sometimes I have to hit, but then, when you try to push something so much with the universe and it's not supposed to happen that way, it'll crumble. So I feel like that had to happen for me to actually manifest. So it's a combination of, if you don't accept it, it'll just crumble and happen on its own like it's supposed to, or you can accept it in your own way, sit with that fear, sit with whatever that is. Once you do that, then it would probably be the affirmation part. And then once you kind of have that feeling of, okay, I'm okay with money, it's going to flow with me easily, the gratitude kind of like ties in with that afterwards. Because looking back now, I'm so grateful that everything did happen to me, because I would still be living in that mindset.
Okay. So to recap, you're saying be aware of the emotion, accept the emotion, acknowledge the emotion first, right? Aware of it, acknowledge it, and then um, accept that situation. It takes some time.
It
You
does
said
take
it, you
time.
said it yeah, so fast. But while we are going through that situation, whatever problem we are having, it's important to be aware of it and then acknowledge what the situation is and how am I feeling when I am in this problematic situation, right? And then it takes a lot of courage to accept it because we can be aware of it, we can acknowledge it, we can the next step is accepting, right? Once we accept, then you said you add on your affirmation, positive affirmations. And I want to add, while you're doing, whoever is doing this, if you're going through any situation and if you want to go along with it, while you're saying the affirmation, feel it, not just say it with words alone, feel it because your emotions play a significant role. So feel it with all your heart and which part of the body are you feeling it? That also is important. So you are in tune with yourself. And then Jennifer says you have to add gratitude. Yes, right? Um, and then is that when you plant the seed literally into the earth?
So the thing with gratitude is that I feel like, so you have a combination of, so mine was acceptance. So I needed to accept that money doesn't rule the world, that there's more to life than money. There's your quality of life, there's how you view life, there's the things like that. So some people will have to like literally forgive instead of accept. So some people will be like, I want to love again. Well, in order to love again, somebody hurts you, you have to forgive them. So sometimes it's not accepting and sitting in the emotion. Sometimes it's forgiveness. Sometimes it's understanding, like another point of view. So the emotional part is the hardest part. And then the affirmation part, there's some people that will do it, because words have meaning. So, the reason spelling is called spelling is because it's a spell. You have the Vedas, you have the mantras. The Vedas are very strong, mantras are powerful, they connect to your throat. I connect with writing it out. So you have like your 555 method where you write something down 55 times for 5 days. And by literally writing it down, you do nothing for during that time. You just, whatever that affirmation is, it's the same every 5 days. You write it down and you just hyper focus on that for the 15 minutes, however long it takes you to write it. And then after you're done with those 55 days or those 5 days, you just forget about it. There's also the 369 method where you write it down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times in the evening. I'm not able to do that and keep up with it. It's too many times, but it goes kind of in like the Nikola Tesla 369, 555. I feel like in the manifesting part, that's worked for me writing it down, but you can also verbally speak it. And then once you actually do that, I feel like once whatever you're trying to manifest or attract, when it actually comes to you or you start seeing the signs, I feel like that's when the gratitude starts to come in because you reflect on everything that you've done.
Beautiful. So yes, to go along with what you said, it's important for us to write it down because it activates the reticular activating system in the brain, as well. And you talked about the 555 method, writing something that we are willing to attract 55 times for 5 days for at least 15 minutes, if it takes 15 minutes to write it down. Did you come up with it? Is it somebody's technique? Like, tell me about it.
I think I found it by blogging. I was looking up manifestation, or I was talking to maybe one of my wellness clients, but I came up with it and then I think I found a printable on Pinterest because I'm big on my organized printables. And I was like, let me just try it, because I just had my son. I wasn't in the best place financially. So I was like, I have nothing to lose. And having a kid kind of grounds you and changes you as a person. So I feel like a combination of all of that love that I had, being a mother and breastfeeding and connecting with my child, my body and everything, I felt like that, along with writing the things down, kind of helped me understand the 555 method. But I think I found it on Pinterest. Pinterest is
Okay.
a dangerous, wonderful place.
Yes. Okay, so what is one thing that you have achieved that you are so proud of?
um probably breaking generational limitations. And I'm the first female on my mother's side to graduate college, start her own business, and be financially independent.
Wow.
So, and that was probably along with doing the 555 method and all of that. So, but it takes time. A lot of the affirmation stuff, you'll read a lot of these, law of attraction, and they're like, do this and you need a coach. But the biggest thing is you need to have gratitude and be able to reflect on where you came from. Anybody can say, oh, let's manifest, you're going to win $1 million. But if you can't put yourself in someone's shoes or reflect back on where you came from, then I feel like you're almost limited to how far you can manifest. And that's why I really like to ground myself doing like the gardening and the holistic gardening. It kind of just like plants my feet into the ground and I connect with nature, the animals, and everything like that. And it kind of brings me back, like whenever I had my son, and you come back to planet Earth, everybody works this busy lifestyle. I feel like when you do these affirmations or whatever that looks like for you, grounding is very important. So whether it be going in the garden or painting or going to the park, that's key to manifesting as well.
Yes. And you said it so beautifully because sometimes when we have that mental rut, we can go on and on and on mentally, and we want to control everything, but that's not how the universe works, right? When we surrender and let it go and do our part, without doing our part, it doesn't help. But doing our part, and then after that, just letting it go, trusting in the higher power, no matter what faith you are in, trusting in that higher power that it's taken care and you are supported, rather than like, oh, okay, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? That is like doubting. It's not going to help us manifest. And then you said painting or planting in the garden. That is so true, because when you are painting, then you're accessing your other side of the brain. It's not that's just the logical left side brain. It's you're engaging with your right side creative brain. And then when you said walking in the park, because again, you are in the nature, and that way you are more grounded and you are connecting with your own inner self. And being in the nature helps do that. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, I love it. I love grounding. I can go on for hours about stuff like that.
So when you said grounding, so you plant, garden, and talk about tell us a little bit about how you do your planting, the compost, and all of that, please.
So I'm Egyptian. So Egyptians are very big. If you look into like the old ancient Egyptians, they're very big on nature. They're very big on like the lotuses, the blue lotuses, and everything like that. They're also big on the incense. Certain smells invoke certain feelings. So grounding for me, I'm a very dominant in my like earth chart. So I base a lot of my stuff on astrology. So your basic farmer's almanac will go into, the best time to plant things, the best time to, harvest things. And it bases that off of a combination of like astrology and the weather and all of the things like that. So whenever I do a ritual or ground myself in the garden, I'll base it off of a planetary hour. So, say I wanted to do something um, with a lot of passion, I would do that during Mars hour. Mars is connected to achievement, energy. The colors are going to be red, scarlet. So, I would use like a red rose, the iron. So, if I had like an iron, tile or something like that, maybe I would put some, a ruby crystal or bloodstone crystal and put 5 of them because it's connected to the 5. So that's how the alchemy will connect with like numerology, astrology, crystals, and timing. But whenever I ground myself, I like to use like no-till methods, composting. I like to use like organic methods. So I would use, combination of your greens, so the tops of the carrots, the tops of the radishes, your browns for nitrogen, so box tops, coffee grinds. You can use seashells and eggshells for bone meal to help bloom the flowers. And I just see it kind of like a Scorpio, like a death and a rebirth. So I put all this stuff in with a couple worms, we twirl it around, and eventually it turns into, your compost. So I don't need any fertilizer, I don't need anything. I just need a seed, an intention, put some compost, and it'll grow.
Seed and intention with
Yeah.
compost.
And
So
sometimes I'll even write a little intention and I'll put my seed into the ground and then plant it. And then I'll plant a literal, like, written intention. So I know one time when I did the 555 method, it was something about growing opportunities. I actually took the last day and planted it with like a seed or a rose bush or something and watered my intentions into that.
it's amazing. I was reading a book about it was written by Dr. Emoto from Japan, and it was about how intention plays a role when you're when you're filling up water from the faucet, right? And he took a picture of 1 cup of water where all positive words were said when they were filling up the water, and then the other cup, when the individuals were filling up water, they were speaking so much hatred words. And then he took those water drops, put it under the microscope, and oh my goodness, the one where nurturing, loving words were poured in, I mean, were put in, that looked all symmetrical. The molecular structure of the water looked very symmetrical. And then the other one, the water molecules that to which the hatred words were spoken. It was non-symmetrical, it was jagged, and so intentions play a role. And
Oh, I love looking into that stuff is so interesting. And if you notice with most of our foods, like just that our iris or just the placenta of like a mother, it looks almost like a tree. So everything has roots that's connected. So every plant that we pull out of the ground is coming from the ground. It has roots that connect. So that's the biggest thing about grounding somebody. So if I go outside and I'm meditating, I envision myself literally planting roots and grounding myself into the ground. I'll take my hands, I'll, rub them into the dirt. And in Ohio, moving up here from Alabama, I noticed there's a bunch of like sigils in Mason. And sigils are a big, like esoteric way of kind of like almost like a pendulum, a crystal grid. So whatever that looks like for you, every religion is different. Some people will use crystal grids, some people will use, runes, some people will use like plants and herbs, but intentions key and how you ground yourself. So you don't have to be the most organic, holistic person, but having like a true honest intention and making an actual effort to reflect is the key to everything.
beautiful. And what did you say? You saw a lot of them in Mason?
Oh, sigils.
How do
They're
you spell
almost
it?
like sigil, sigil. They're almost like a grid.
Mm.
I have one in the back of my shed. I noticed it when I moved in. I was like, and I did a little planting ritual there in front
And
of
it's a sigil is a tree, or is it, what is
It's
it?
it's like what's a good way to explain a sigil? It's almost like a grid, almost like like a crystal grid, but it's
Do you see it in the air? Do you see it in the
you'll see
tree?
them like driving by. There's some in like some of the stained windows. You'll see them in the windows. They're like
Got it.
circular, and the most of them here will have acorns and leaves in them. It looks like a circle, like what is I cannot think of the word for the life of me. Kind of like a runes
So it's a picture you
Yeah,
saw.
it's like a picture. You'll
Okay.
see them at the top of houses. They're super fresh.
Oh, nice. Okay, so okay, you talked about that. And you said when you are planting, you don't need the fertilizers. You don't use the fertilizers. You just use the compost and seed, and you use your intentions and plant. Do you teach classes on or you're planning to?
I plan on teaching classes on that and teaching classes on the like holistic methods and how to make your own tinctures and things like that. But I don't, but I probably should. I think it'd be
Hmm.
interesting.
Yes, there. We are putting our intention there. So you can teach your classes soon on holistic gardening.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And who inspires you? I know your son is one of your inspiration, but who else inspire you?
That's a good question. I would say like any woman that has like been through something and kind of like rose above and you know life's hard, especially being a single mom. So I always have a mutual respect for women that have overcome something that is hard, especially in today's society. It's already hard being a woman, especially a woman in tech. So I have a lot of respect for women that can kind of relate to that aspect. My son is my everything. He literally changed my world. I'm a different person because of it. Um, but yeah, that's a good question. I guess like women that, I can look up to that have, gone through something and overcame it.
Um, how long? I know you said you have 10 plus years of experience in the technology world. What do you do? Tell us a little bit more.
What do I do? I have a lot of skills in tech. So I do developer work. I do marketing. My degree was actually in graphic design. So I am a graphic designer. Um, and websites, SEO, and I do like to blog now. I got into the blogging when I started blogging about the wellness things, so blog marketing and things like that.
Um, so you are into alchemy, you are into astrology, you are a graphic artist, and you are a developer. If you have to pick maybe two, but what is your heart? Where is your heart at?
If I had to pick two and we didn't live in a 3D world with 3D problems, I would probably do the gardening for sure. I would hyper focus on that and do the growing my own food and promote, kind of showing people how to do that because it's just it tastes different. Like you can actually like taste the nutrients. Like I could go buy 10 radishes from the store, but I'm going to be more full from the radish that I actually grew because it has more nutrients with more intentions in it. And then healing your body using, alchemy and the planetary alignment. So say I wanted to make something for my nerves. I would do that with valerian root, poppies, violets, and make a tincture out of that. Well, that tincture is going to be better if I make it during Cancer hour and align it during, the Cancer moon, because Cancer is connected to, your bowels, your nerves, and anxiety. So I would probably focus on that and do, an apothecary shop that focuses on plant alchemy and how to connect with
Beautiful.
nature.
Wow. If you're not blogging already about what you're sharing, it's amazing. You are a wealth of knowledge about the astrology for sure.
I love it. I love it. Especially moving up here, there's more like bookstores and things like that. So I've been going to half price books and all these Barnes and Nobles and getting all these alchemy books, and I love it. I love it.
So, what does your typical morning look like?
My morning, I'm still getting used to the cold. It's a lot colder here than Alabama, but for the most part, I will wake up. I like to wake up around 5 and I kind of have my quiet time, make my coffee, ground myself, plan out my day, and just kind of reflect. And um, and then once my son wakes up, everything gets busy. But at the end of the day, I like to do the same thing and just kind of like come back to center and reflect on everything I've done, kind of plan out what my day looks like tomorrow. So when I wake up the next day, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm really big on time management and learning how to ground myself and the gratitude part of the manifesting. I used to overbook myself and overexert myself. So when I would make my planner, I would put so much in the day that it was just wasn't feasible for one human being to do that kind of stuff. So by making a planner, I usually do it from Monday to Friday. I'll space it out and try to be, nice to myself and understanding to myself that I can only take so much on so I have time to reflect.
That's important because, when you said you were feeling overwhelmed when you filled up your planner with everything and you learn to set the boundaries and give yourself grace.
Yes.
So, um, that is very important. Thank you for sharing that. So do you have any, I know you do marketing and SEO and graphic design and all of that. Any one which is your favorite business tool that you would like to share with us?
My business or a client's business?
Anything, any one your favorite business tool.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my previous clients. Her name is Barbara May. She actually kind of helped me understand how pendulums work. So they're these little what is it? It has a crystal at the bottom, and you can kind of
Yes.
speak to the ancestors. Show me yes, show me no. And she also showed me how to create a crystal grid and how to activate it. So whenever I make a crystal grid, it's kind of like a sigil. You'll have your main stone in the middle, and then you have your outer stones. So say I wanted to do something to ground, I would use crystals like fluorite, quartz, green stones that are sapphire. things like that that are grounding and activate it. But she was kind of the first person that kind of introduced me to different aspects, because being Egyptian, we're big on, okay, we're gonna do this, or the evil eye. So we have like, you know, the hamsa. She kind of opened me up to, okay, tarot can be read like this, and this is a pendulum. I'm going to use a crystal and ask the ancestors yes or no. Here's a crystal grid that I can make and put in the middle of my home to ground myself or set my intention. So she kind of opened my eyes to different aspects of the ways you can do things to ground yourself.
And when you share, thank you, appreciate that for sharing. When you said you create that crystal grid and you put it in the center of the your home, do you leave it or do you do it, set the intention and then you remove that?
So you can, sometimes I'll do it during just like a moon phase. So I usually will set it during like a moon phase. So if it's like a Pisces moon, I'm going to use more like water stones. But usually I'll leave it. And then if you are intuitive and you are grounded, you'll get a feeling like, okay, this grid is done. It's time to take it apart. And you'll get a feeling of, we got to clean it up. Or if you have kids touching it all the time, then you got to clean it up.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, when you talked about the moon phases, you're not talking about the new moon and the full moon. You're talking about each. Um,
So whenever you do rituals, you can do rituals based on the full moon, the new moon, the waning, and the waxing. So the new moon is going to be good for if you want to do anything for new beginnings, rejuvenation, new projects. On the lighter aspect, if you wanted to do something a little bit more gray, it's good for dark magic, banishing. So if you have some bad energy, you want to banish it. The full moon is good for light work, psychic spells, knowledge, blessings, prosperity. The waxing moon, so say you're looking it up and it's the waxing moon in Sagittarius. Waxing is going to be good for growth, attraction, healing, creation, love. Waning moon would be good for removal of bad energy, protection, cleansing, mending relationships. And then you have your blue moons, which is good for rituals, protection, guidance, and just kind of a boost. And then you have eclipses, which I don't do anything with eclipses. Most of like your Mayan cultures and other cultures will tell you not to make moon water or do anything during eclipses. But sometimes you can harness the energy if it's something very passionate, if you do it properly. But everything with the moon is key. So planning a ritual or intention or growing whatever you want to grow based on the moon is very important for it to be successful.
wow, that is a lot of
I
information.
love the moon. I'm a Cancer. We're connected to the moon.
Okay. Wow. Um, Now, do you have any regrets at all?
Any regrets? The only regret I have is that it took me having my son to become so grounded that I had to basically like hit rock bottom and have my son to be like, oh, this is what life could be. But other than that, no, I feel like everything is a learning experience, and everything that I've learned, I'm able to reflect back on. So even though I wish I would have learned things sooner, when I do look back, it's kind of like, look how far I've come.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Anything else you want to share that I missed?
Um, March is good to manifest.
Okay.
It's a good
So
one.
set the intention, like Jennifer says, um, sit with whatever emotions that we are feeling and say the affirmation and then infuse it with gratitude. Yes?
Yes. I would just because you're going to write it so many times. A lot of people are like, how do you write it 55 times for 5 days? Because it's a lot. The biggest thing is finding a affirmation that really resonates with you. So a combination of It needs to be something that you're not wanting or needing. So if you're wanting to manifest money, I am a money magnet. Money flows to me easily. So something very simple, but it's very strong. So I am a money magnet. Or I release poverty mindset. So you can release something. But just making sure, like when you say it out loud before you start writing it so many times, that that feels good intuitively, and that's what I want to do. Because sometimes we just get so busy in the moment, they're like, that one's good. You have to actually feel it and feel like it's good for you.
That's important. That's the reason why we have those feelings. So it's important to feel those feelings. Yes.
It is.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing all of this
Having me.
information and sharing how you manifested, your life. And I wish you all the very best.
Yes.
And I would love to have you again and share more information. And when you have your classes, please let us know so I can let my audience know. So, how can people reach out to you? Is it website or is it
So I do have a website in the work. It's soulsisterwellness.com, but I'm going through a rebrand. So for right now, they can email me at jen@designsbyzal.com. And then whenever I have my Soul Sister page back up with all the blogs, I will have an email that people can reach out to there.
beautiful? Jen at designsbyzal.com. Okay. And I will post it on the show notes. So thank you
Thank
again.
you for having me.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Yes.
I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.